The sun rose over Seoul like any other morning, casting golden rays across the sleek buildings of the metropolis. Everything seemed ordinary until the sky began to darken, not with storm clouds, but with massive shadows that stretched across the horizon. The citizens of Earth were about to face their greatest challenge. Admiral Kim Tae-ho stood motionless in the United Earth Defense Force Command Center, his experienced eyes fixed on the holographic displays that filled the room with an eerie blue glow. More warships kept appearing, each one larger than the last, their metallic hulls reflecting sunlight as they emerged from hyperspace. These vessels were unlike anything humans had ever built. Each one stretched for kilometers, dwarfing the largest aircraft carriers on Earth. The command center buzzed with activity as officers rushed between stations, their faces pale with concern. Tae-ho maintained his composure, though his heart raced at the sight of such overwhelming force. He had trained for many scenarios, but nothing quite like this. Commander Park Ji-won burst through the doors, his usually neat uniform slightly disheveled. "Admiral, we're picking up transmissions across all frequencies. Radio, television, internet, everything." He paused to catch his breath. "They're calling themselves the Galactic Imperial Fleet." Tae-ho's expression remained stern as he processed this information. "Show me," he ordered, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. The main screen at the front of the command center flickered to life, revealing a face that would soon become infamous across Earth. High Commander Lee Sang-min of the Empire appeared before them, his uniform adorned with medals that gleamed under the lights of his ship. His face showed no emotion, no mercy, as he delivered his message to Earth's billions of inhabitants. "People of Earth," his voice boomed through every speaker and device capable of receiving the signal, "your planet now belongs to the Empire. Your technology is primitive, your defenses inadequate. We offer you one chance. Surrender within 48 hours, or face annihilation." The message repeated in all major languages, leaving no room for misunderstanding. In the command center, screens lit up with incoming calls from world leaders, military commanders, and panicked officials from every nation. Tae-ho turned to Ji-won, speaking quietly but firmly. "Get me a secure line to the World Security Council, and contact our research facilities. All of them." He paused, watching as more ships took position around Earth. "We need to know exactly what we're dealing with." Teams of analysts worked frantically to assess the Imperial fleet's capabilities. Early estimates were grim. Their technology appeared to be centuries ahead of Earth's most advanced systems. Their ships utilized energy shields that could likely withstand nuclear weapons, and their weapon systems were beyond anything in Earth's arsenal. As the day progressed, cities around the world erupted in chaos. Some people fled to the countryside, while others gathered in churches, temples, and mosques. Streets filled with protesters demanding immediate surrender, while others called for resistance at any cost. In the Seoul Command Center, Tae-ho received reports from military installations worldwide. China, Russia, the United States, and other major powers had placed their forces on high alert, but everyone knew conventional weapons would be useless against such advanced technology. As the sun began to set over Seoul, Tae-ho stood at the window of his office, watching the massive ships hover above the city. Citizens below had stopped to take photos and videos, their phones pointed skyward at humanity's potential executioners. "Sir," Ji-won interrupted his thoughts, "the World Security Council is ready for you. They're waiting in the secure conference room." Tae-ho nodded, straightening his uniform. As he walked to the conference room, he thought about the weight of the decisions they would have to make. 48 hours to decide the fate of humanity. 48 hours to either submit to alien rule or face destruction. The first contact with alien life had finally happened, but not in the way anyone had hoped or expected. As Tae-ho entered the conference room, he knew that somewhere within Earth's governments and military organizations, there had to be a way to resist. Humanity had survived countless challenges throughout its history. This would be their greatest test yet. The clock was ticking, and Earth's time for making its choice was running out. But as Taiho took his seat at the conference table, his mind was already working on a plan. The Empire had made one crucial mistake. They had given Earth time to prepare, and humans had always been at their best when backed into a corner. 3 kilometers beneath the mountains of the Korean peninsula, behind layers of solid rock and reinforced steel, Dr. Kang Myray hadn't slept in 36 hours. The underground facility known as Project Dawn hummed with energy as scientists and engineers worked around the clock. Time was running out. Myray stood before a massive circular device that pulsed with a soft blue glow. This was the culmination of 15 years of work, a quantum shield disruption system that could change the course of human history. Her tired eyes studied the readings on multiple screens, checking and rechecking every calculation. The project had begun with a discovery in Antarctica, strange artifacts buried deep in the ice, clearly not of Earth origin. Myray had been among the first scientists called to study them, and she quickly realized their potential. The artifacts contained technology that manipulated quantum fields in ways that defied current scientific understanding. Now, as alien ships loomed above, that research might be humanity's only hope. Dr. Kim Hyun-woo approached, carrying fresh data readings. He had been Myray's research partner since the beginning, and they had developed an almost telepathic understanding. "The power systems are holding steady," he reported, his voice carrying a mix of exhaustion and excitement. "The quantum resonance field is maintaining stability at 98%. Myray nodded, studying the complex patterns flowing across her screens. "Show me the shield penetration simulations again," she requested, rubbing her tired eyes. The holographic display sprang to life, showing their theoretical models of how the Imperial ship's energy shields functioned. Teams of technicians moved purposefully through the facility, checking connections and monitoring power levels. The air was thick with tension. Everyone knew they were racing against time. The Empire's deadline would expire in less than 12 hours. Dr. Kang. A young assistant rushed over, tablet in hand. "We're receiving new scan data from our orbital satellites. The Imperial shields. They're exactly like we predicted. The frequency patterns match our models perfectly." Myray's heart raced as she examined the new data. Years of theoretical work were suddenly validated. "Hyun-woo," she called out, "update the targeting parameters. We need to match these frequencies precisely." The facility's main chamber housed their greatest achievement, a massive quantum resonance generator. It looked deceptively simple, a series of concentric rings surrounding a central core that pulsed with energy. But within it lay technology that blended Earth's most advanced quantum physics with insights gained from the Antarctic artifacts. Myray walked around the device, checking connections and power couplings. Each component had been tested countless times, but she couldn't afford any mistakes. One failed connection, one misaligned crystal, and their only chance would be lost. "Running final calibration sequence," Hyun-woo announced. The rings began to spin, creating a complex geometric pattern of light. Quantum field stability at 99%. Field penetration simulations show success. The disruption field can penetrate their shields. Myray allowed herself a small smile, the first in days. She moved to the communication console and established a secure link to Admiral Taiho's command center. "Admiral, this is Dr. Kang. Project Dawn is ready." There was a brief pause before Taiho's response came through. "You're certain, Doctor? The quantum resonance is stable. Our field can penetrate their shield technology." She took a deep breath before continuing. "But sir, we'll only get one chance. Once we reveal this technology, they'll adapt their shields. Everything has to be perfectly coordinated." The Admiral's voice was grim but determined. "Understood, Doctor. Stand by for operational orders. And thank you, all of you." As the communication ended, Myray looked around at her team. These men and women had worked in secret for years, missing holidays, birthdays, and countless family moments. Now everything depended on their success. Hyun-woo joined her at the console. "It's strange," he said quietly. "All these years, we wondered if we'd ever find proof of alien life. Now they're here, and we're about to use their own technology against them." May Ray nodded, watching the quantum resonance patterns swirl on her screens. The next few hours would determine the fate of humanity. Their hidden project, born from mysterious artifacts and years of dedication, was about to face its ultimate test. As final preparations continued around them, May Ray silently thanked whatever force had led to the discovery of those artifacts in Antarctica. Humanity had been given a chance. Now they just had to make it count. Chaos erupted in the streets of major cities worldwide as the Empire's deadline drew closer. From her hidden command post in an abandoned subway station beneath Seoul, Captain Song Jae-yun watched multiple screens showing news feeds from around the globe. To the Empire, it looked like Earth was tearing itself apart. That was exactly what she wanted them to think. Jae-yun's fingers flew across her keyboard as she coordinated with resistance cells on every continent. The Empire's ships hung in the sky like dark stars, their sensors sweeping the planet, watching the apparent collapse of human civilization with cold satisfaction. On her main screen, she observed another carefully orchestrated riot in New York. Protesters clashed with police, waving signs demanding immediate surrender. In Moscow, military units appeared to be fighting each other. London's financial district burned with controlled fires that produced plenty of smoke but caused minimal actual damage. Phase 3 is complete in South America, reported her communication officer. The Brazilian army appears to be mobilizing against Argentina. The Empire's satellites are tracking their movements. Jae-yun nodded, taking the sip of cold coffee. Perfect. What about the African command? Right on schedule. They're broadcasting false reports of military coups in 3 countries. Behind this theatrical performance of global disorder, Lieutenant Lee Min-ho was leading the real operation. His teams moved quietly through the chaos, setting up quantum disruptors in locations across the planet. The devices were small, barely larger than a suitcase, but each one was a masterpiece of human ingenuity and alien technology. Min-ho's voice crackled over the secure channel. Team 7 reporting. Disruptor in place at Mount Fuji. Power systems stable and undetected. Jae-yun marked another point on her global map. Dozens of green dots now mark the locations of hidden disruptors. The Empire's sophisticated scanning technology swept over them repeatedly, but the quantum devices remained invisible. The aliens were looking for familiar energy signatures. They never expected humans to have technology that operated on completely different principles. "Captain," called out her tactical officer, "Imperial ships are shifting positions. They're spreading out to maintain better coverage of major population centers." Jae-yun smiled grimly. The Empire was positioning their ships exactly where Earth needed them to be. They were so confident in their superiority that they never considered they were being manipulated. In Washington, D.C., a carefully staged protest marched toward the White House. In Beijing, military units conducted show-of-force exercises, appearing to prepare for conflict with neighboring countries. Every movement was choreographed to reinforce the Empire's belief that their psychological warfare had succeeded. Min-ho's teams continued their work, hidden in plain sight. They moved through crowded streets disguised as utility workers, emergency responders, or ordinary civilians fleeing the chaos. Each quantum disruptor was carefully positioned according to Dr. Kang's calculations for maximum effective coverage. Sydney team reporting successful placement. Another message came through. Operating at minimal power as instructed. No detection from Imperial scans. Jae-yun opened a secure channel to Admiral Taiho. "Sir, we're at 60% deployment. The Empire remains unaware. Their attention is focused on the surface conflicts." "Excellent work, Captain," Taiho responded. "Dr. Kang reports the quantum network is stabilizing. How much longer do you need?" Jae-yun checked her countdown clock. 3 more hours to complete deployment. The riots and military movements are providing perfect cover. On her screens, she watched as another carefully managed conflict broke out in Dubai. The Empire's ships adjusted positions slightly, their sensors focusing on the disturbance. Below them, hidden in an abandoned building, another quantum disruptor powered up silently. Minho's voice came through again. Team 3 encountering difficulty in Cairo. Imperial patrol ships showing unusual interest in their sector. Jia Yun quickly assessed the situation. Activate contingency protocol 4. Give them something more interesting to look at. Minutes later, explosions rocked an empty warehouse district across the city. As planned, the Imperial ship turned its attention to the new disturbance, while Team 3 completed their installation undetected. The hours ticked by as more disruptors came online. Each one powered up at minimal levels, forming an invisible web around the planet. The Empire's sensors swept over them again and again, finding nothing but the chaos they expected to see. As the last teams reported success, Jia Yun allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Humanity had turned its greatest weakness, its apparent division and conflict, into the perfect deception. The Empire thought they were watching Earth's civilization collapse. Instead, they were watching an elaborate performance, carefully crafted to hide humanity's true preparations. Jia Yun sent the final confirmation to Admiral Taiho. All disruptors in position, sir. The quantum network is complete. We're ready. The Empire had given Earth 48 hours to surrender. They never suspected the humans would use that time to set up the perfect trap. Now all that remained was to spring it. The first rays of sunlight crept over the horizon as Imperial ships descended toward major cities worldwide. They came to accept Earth's surrender, their massive hulls gleaming with confidence. In the skies above New York, London, Beijing, and dozens of other cities, the Empire's fleet moved into position for their moment of triumph. Admiral Taiho stood in the command center, watching the enemy ships on his displays. His hand rested on the quantum network activation control. Around him, the command staff waited in tense silence. Everything depended on perfect timing. Imperial ships are in optimal position, reported Captain Song Jia-Yun from her underground post. All disruption fields ready. Taiho took a deep breath. Activate quantum network. Now. Across the globe, hidden disruptors powered up to full strength simultaneously. The effect was instant and devastating. The Empire's seemingly invincible energy shields flickered like dying light bulbs. Confusion spread through the Imperial fleet as their most basic defense system failed. All channels open, called out the communications officer. Taiho's voice thundered across every frequency. Now. Colonel Choi Yuna's fighter squadrons erupted from hidden bases worldwide. Their aircraft, enhanced with quantum technology, streaked toward the vulnerable Imperial ships. Underground hangar doors slid open in mountains, deserts, and forests, revealing humanity's secret air force. Yuna led the Asian squadron personally, her fighter climbing rapidly toward a massive Imperial cruiser. All wings, engage targets. Remember your training. Their shields are down, but their armor is still strong. Hit the weak points we identified. The Imperial ships tried to raise their shields, but the quantum disruption field turned their defensive energy into useless static. For the first time, they were vulnerable. Earth's fighters struck with devastating precision. They carried specially designed weapons that combined conventional explosives with quantum field generators. Where Imperial armor had once shrugged off nuclear weapons, it now cracked under the precisely targeted attacks. An Imperial destroyer above Paris attempted to return fire, but its energy weapons sparked and fizzled in the disruption field. Earth's fighters swarmed around it like angry bees, striking critical systems that Dr. Kang's team had identified. Target their propulsion systems, Yun-Ah commanded as her squadron dove through the chaos. Don't let them stabilize their shield generators. The Empire's commanders tried desperately to understand what was happening. Their superior technology, the backbone of their power, was being negated by devices their sensors couldn't even detect. Ships that had conquered dozens of worlds were now defenseless against what they had considered a primitive species. Lieutenant Lee Minho coordinated the ground response. As Imperial ships lost power and control, his teams moved to secure crash sites before the Empire could destroy sensitive technology. Team 5, move in on the downed cruiser near Sydney. Team 3, intercept that landing party in South Africa. In orbit, Earth's handful of space-capable vessels, hidden until now, engaged Imperial support ships. Their quantum-enhanced weapons cut through the once impenetrable hulls. Debris began raining down as more ships lost power and succumbed to gravity. "Sir," called one of Sangmin's officers, "we're detecting energy surges from the surface. They're increasing the power to whatever's disrupting our shields." In Project Dawn, Mayray had indeed ordered a power increase. Hanwoo wrote emergency power to Sectors 3 and 7. The Empire is concentrating their forces there. The facility trembled as they pushed the quantum network to its limits. Engineers rushed between power stations, cooling systems worked at maximum capacity, and the air crackled with energy. "They're trying something new," Hanwoo warned, pointing to his readings. "The Empire is attempting to synchronize their shield frequencies across multiple ships." Mayray smiled grimly. "Exactly as we predicted. Activate Countermeasure Protocol Beta." The quantum disruption field shifted in a way the Empire's computers couldn't analyze. Their synchronized shield attempt failed spectacularly, leaving dozens of ships completely exposed. On his flagship, Sangmin watched in horror as more of his fleet's ships went dark. His empire had conquered 100 worlds, yet this supposedly primitive planet was defeating them with incomprehensible technology. "Sir," his tactical officer reported shakily, "we're detecting similar energy signatures from other systems. The humans, they're sharing their technology with our other subject worlds." This news hit Sangmin like a physical blow. If Earth's quantum technology spread to other conquered planets, the Empire's entire power structure would collapse. In Project Dawn, Mayray received confirmation that their technology-sharing initiative was succeeding. Resistance movements on other worlds were already beginning to replicate their quantum disruption fields. "The Empire's firing control systems are completely offline," Hyunwoo reported with satisfaction. "Their weapons are useless without shield synchronization." Mayray allowed herself a small moment of pride. Years of theoretical work, countless failed experiments, and endless nights of research had led to this moment. Humanity had not only defended itself, but had found a way to free other oppressed civilizations. Sangmin's flagship shuddered as another hit breached its hull. "Prepare my escape vessel," he ordered quietly. "Send the retreat signal to all remaining ships." As escape pods began launching from Imperial vessels, Earth's defenders maintained their disciplined attack. There would be no wholesale slaughter. Humanity would show more mercy than the Empire ever had. In Project Dawn, Mayray watched the energy signatures of retreating Imperial ships. "Keep the disruption field at maximum until they're beyond lunar orbit," she instructed. "We can't risk them trying one final attack." The turning point in humanity's first interstellar war had arrived. The Empire's defeat at Earth would echo across the galaxy, inspiring hope in countless enslaved worlds. And it had all started with artifacts found in Antarctic ice, combined with human determination and ingenuity. As the last Imperial ships disappeared into hyperspace, Mayray and her team finally allowed themselves to relax. They had changed the course of galactic history, and the empire of terror that had ruled for centuries would never be the same. The damaged Imperial flagship drifted in low orbit, its engines silent and its weapons powerless. Captain Song Jae-yun led her specially trained infiltration team through its darkened corridors. Emergency lights cast an eerie red glow as they moved deeper into the massive vessel. "Security systems are still offline," whispered her technical expert, checking a handheld scanner. "The quantum disruption field is keeping their backup power from engaging." Jae-yun nodded, gesturing her team forward. They had trained for months for this mission, studying Imperial ship layouts from fragments of data gathered by resistance movements across the galaxy. But nothing had prepared them for the reality of being inside an actual Imperial command vessel. They reached the ship's central data core, a massive chamber filled with crystalline storage devices. "Begin the download," Jai Yun ordered. "Extract everything you can." As her team worked, Jai Yun explored the surrounding chambers. She found herself in what appeared to be a private museum. Display cases lined the walls, containing artifacts and devices from dozens of worlds. Each item was labeled with a date and location of acquisition. "Captain," called one of her team members, "you need to see this." The technician had accessed the main Imperial database. On the screen, files scrolled past showing detailed records of technological theft spanning centuries. The Empire hadn't developed their advanced technology. They had stolen it systematically from every civilization they conquered. "Look at this," the technician pointed. "The shield technology they use, stolen from the Centauri systems 200 years ago. They're faster than light drives, taken from the Rigel colonies." Jai Yun's mind raced as she understood the implications. The Empire maintains control by preventing any civilization from developing past a certain point. They steal the most promising technologies, then destroy the research facilities and scientists who created them. More revelations followed as they dug deeper into the files. The Empire's seemingly advanced weapons were copied from a dozen different sources. Their communication systems, their sensor technology, even their basic power systems, all had been stolen and cobbled together. "Download everything," Jai Yun ordered. "Every conquered world needs to know the truth." Through her command link, she contacted Admiral Taiho. "Sir, we've found something extraordinary. The Empire's technological superiority is a lie. They're not innovators, they're thieves." Her team worked quickly to copy the massive database. Among the files, they found technical specifications for every system the Empire used. More importantly, they found the weaknesses and flaws the Empire had never bothered to fix. "These hybrid systems, they're unstable," noted the technical expert. "The Empire never fully understood the technologies they stole. They just forced them to work together." That explained why Earth's quantum disruption field had been so effective. The Empire had no defense against it because they had never encountered it before. They couldn't adapt to new threats. They could only use what they had stolen. Jai Yun transmitted the technical data to Dr. Kang's team. "Doctor, you'll want to see this. We've found detailed specs of their shield systems. The quantum frequency variations make perfect sense now." As her team finished their work, alarms suddenly blared through the ship. "Imperial forces are attempting to reactivate their systems," reported her security officer. "We need to move." They rushed back through the corridors, carrying the most valuable intelligence ever gathered about the Empire. Behind them, emergency systems sputtered to life, fighting against the quantum disruption field. Within hours, the stolen data began spreading across the galaxy. Earth's quantum communication technology, developed in secret, carried the truth to every world under Imperial control. The Empire's carefully maintained image of technological superiority crumbled. Resistance movements on dozens of worlds found new hope. The technical specifications revealed critical weaknesses in Imperial systems. Centuries of oppression had taught these civilizations to be creative with limited resources. Now they had the knowledge to fight back. Back on Earth, Dr. Kang and her team worked frantically to analyze the stolen data. "Their entire technology base is a patchwork," she explained to Admiral Taiho. "They never developed their own solutions. They just took what others created." The Admiral studied the reports with growing satisfaction. "So their greatest weakness is their inability to innovate," May Ray finished. "They don't know how to solve new problems. They can only use what they've stolen." Jai Yun's discovery had changed everything. Earth's quantum technology wasn't just a weapon. It was proof that innovation could defeat theft, that creativity could overcome brute force. As reports came in from across the galaxy, the true impact of the infiltration mission became clear. The Empire's subjects were rising up, using the stolen technical data to turn Imperial technology against its masters. The age of Imperial domination was ending. The Empire had believed they could maintain control through technological superiority. Instead, their reliance on stolen technology had become their greatest weakness. The truth Jai Yun's team discovered would reshape the galaxy, as oppressed worlds reclaimed their right to develop and innovate freely. The Grand Assembly Hall of the United Nations buzzed with excitement as representatives from every nation gathered. Admiral Kim Tae-ho stood at the podium, his uniform crisp and decorated with new medals that represented humanity's first victory in space. Today marks the beginning of a new era, he began, his voice carrying to every corner of the hall. The Imperial fleet has withdrawn from Earth's space. More importantly, they have signed a formal recognition of Earth's independence and sovereignty. Kicks. Screens behind him showed the departure of the last Imperial ships. Those same vessels that had once darkened Earth's skies in threat now retreated in defeat. The audience broke into applause, but Tae-ho raised his hand for silence. Our victory carries greater responsibility. Earth has been offered a seat on the Galactic Council. We will have a voice in shaping the future of our galaxy. In the front row, Dr. Kang Mei sat quietly, her mind already working on new applications of quantum technology. The artifacts discovered in Antarctica had been just the beginning. With the knowledge gained from the Empire's databases, she and her team were developing innovations that would change space travel forever. The quantum drive tests were successful. She whispered to Dr. Kim Hyun-woo beside her. We can achieve faster than light travel without the Empire's stolen technology. Our way is more efficient, more stable. Across the hall, Captain Song Jae-yun reviewed reports from the newly established Earth Diplomatic Corps. Former Imperial worlds were reaching out, seeking alliances and technological partnerships. Her first mission would depart within the week, carrying Earth's message of cooperation and innovation to the stars. The Empire's retreat has created opportunities, Tae-ho continued. But it has also created challenges. Dozens of worlds are breaking free from Imperial control. They look to Earth not just for technology, but for leadership. The Assembly listened intently as he outlined Earth's new role. Humanitarian missions were already preparing to assist worlds damaged by Imperial withdrawal. Earth's quantum technology would be shared, not hoarded like the Empire's stolen innovations. Dr. Meirei's team had established training centers worldwide, teaching scientists from other worlds to understand and develop quantum technology. Unlike the Empire, Earth believed in spreading knowledge and fostering innovation. Our strength came not from superior weapons, Tae-ho emphasized, but from human ingenuity, determination, and unity. When faced with extinction, we did not surrender. We innovated. We adapted. We overcame. The screens showed images from the battle. Earth's fighters defending cities, quantum disruption fields protecting civilians, teams working together across national boundaries. The Empire's threat had united humanity like never before. After the assembly, Jae-yun found Mei in her laboratory. The first diplomatic ship is ready, she announced. We've installed the new quantum drives. Will you join us for the maiden voyage? Mei smiled, looking up from her work. Someone needs to stay here and keep developing new solutions. The Empire won't stay away forever. We need to be ready. Earth's defenses were stronger than ever. The quantum disruption network had been expanded, protecting not just Earth, but helping to shield other worlds. Former Imperial subjects were learning to defend themselves, sharing knowledge instead of hoarding it. In orbit, construction had begun on Earth's first true space fleet. These ships weren't copies of Imperial designs, but completely new vessels built around quantum technology. They represented humanity's approach to the challenges of space: innovation over imitation, cooperation over conquest. As the sun set over the United Nations building, Tae-ho stood at a window, watching ships rise into the darkening sky. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger. The galaxy was changing, and Earth would help guide that change. "We're receiving another transmission," Jai-Yun reported, joining him at the window. "3 more worlds want to join the Alliance. They're tired of living under Imperial shadows. They want what Earth represents: freedom to grow, to develop, to innovate." The Empire had ruled through fear and technological theft. Earth would lead through cooperation and shared progress. It was a new beginning not just for humanity, but for all the civilizations reaching for the stars. As night fell, lights began appearing in the sky. Not Imperial warships, but Earth's new vessels preparing for their first diplomatic missions. They carried with them humanity's greatest gifts to the galaxy: hope, innovation, and the unshakable belief that unity and determination could overcome any obstacle. The universe had changed, and humanity, once thought primitive by the Empire, would help guide that change toward a brighter future for all.